What's going on, guys? Briar Rabbit here. Today is Tuesday. That means it's time for the weekly Nightfall Strike solo run. Let's start off by taking a look at the modifiers. This is going to be Cerberus Vey 3. That means we're going to be fighting Valis to Arc. We've got a very favorable set of modifiers, though. We've got Epic. We've got Nightfall. Those are going to be on every Nightfall Strike. Arc Burn, Brawler, and Solar Burn. So Solar Burn is the highlight here. There are so many great Solar Burn weapons at our disposal that anytime you see this, you know it's going to be a good week for the Nightfall. So let's go through our loadout. I'm going to be using a Hunter with the Golden Gun and the Celestial Nighthawk to get that one badass shot off. I love the Celestial Nighthawk. It makes the Hunter good against bosses. It's very fun to use. My loadout is going to include the Vision of Confluence, one of my favorite guns since Vanilla Destiny. I'm going to be sad to see this one go away for year 2. Next, the Black Hammer. Again, this one's getting a nerf for year 2, and it's not going to be upgraded to the new power levels, so use it while you can. This thing is absolutely a badass gun. And of course, the G-Horn. Having this thing out during a Nightfall that has Solar Burn on just makes Nightfalls trivial. Again, this one's getting a nerf, and it's not going to be upgraded in the Taken King to the year 2 standard for exotic. So we're not going to see a year 2 version, not yet anyway. So very good week for the Nightfall. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, we have landed on Mars. It's time to get this strike started. Shouldn't be too difficult a strike today. Solar Burn and Arc Burn are dangerous. However, because there's just so many super powerful weapons our Guardians can have with those burns on them, especially Solar, we really shouldn't have too much of an issue here. They're going to be basically 3 rough parts. Obviously, the Valis... Whoop. Hello. Learn how to drive. Basically, the Valis to Arc fight, of course, is going to be somewhat dangerous. But as long as we're relatively careful, we shouldn't have too much of a difficulty. The tank fight can be a real pain in the neck. Sometimes you just randomly kind of die to his one-shot kill. But we've got a pretty good cheese against it. And then there's this room here. Normally, I would just start running right here. I would just go right through this room. If I die, no big deal. It's not a Nightfall area, so you respawn in this room. But because there is a Walking Tall bounty this week, I'm going to take it a little bit slower than I normally do. Actually try to clear out this room a little bit before I move on, so that I can complete that bounty, because more bounties is more better. Move up a little bit here. I believe there's going to be another rocket guy up there, and there is a Colossus around here someplace that I haven't seen yet. Back off a little bit here. What did you guys think of that trailer? So the new trailer came out featuring a little bit of new stuff in there. We got to see the last word in there. We got to see a couple other cool stuff. It was a really exciting trailer, partially just because of the song they used. They used the Led Zeppelin song, and I like Led Zeppelin quite a bit. I've liked them, since I was a kid, really. I just thought it was an exciting trailer, I gotta back off here. It was just it was a cool looking trailer. It was a cool sounding trailer. They did a good job with the... These guys are really pissing me off. They did a cool job kind of syncing the action to the Led Zeppelin song. If you don't like Led Zeppelin, you probably weren't as excited about it as I was, but I thought it was really fun to watch. Let's see if we can take out this Colossus. God, this grenade won't charge. We got to hear some new news about what Nightfall strikes are going to look like. Weekly heroics are going away. There's going to be a heroic playlist instead. Which initially I was kind of bummed to see the loss of the weekly heroic. But the weekly strike playlist, or the heroic strike playlist does sound pretty awesome. And it's something that you can just kind of keep playing with, and I think the rewards are going to be pretty good in there too. So that should be a lot of fun. And, you know, you're going to get different modifiers instead of just having one weekly strike that you play through 3 times, once on each character. You know, you can kind of just keep going into this thing and having fun with it. You know, the rewards are limited. And it's kind of weird how there's some account level rewards and there's some character level rewards. So it's a little confusing in that respect. I'm just going to jump on down here. Should be able to just hide behind these tubes over here and get to the next area. Wait for this door to open and get going here. But the Nightfall, not having to go back to orbit, that's good. You know, it's just going to save you time if you end up wiping. The 30-second countdown to revive enemies, or to revive friends, like in the strikes, that's a good change. You know, that just makes the Nightfall harder. It'll be interesting to see what the new strikes actually feel like to play. I'm wondering if they're going to still be soloable. You know, like, is that even going to be a thing anymore? Or are you going to need multiple people to finish strikes? You know, are there going to be mechanics in there that kind of force you to play as a team? You know, from the one they showed so far, the one that was on the live stream, that one looks like it'll be soloable. It might be difficult to just stay alive with every enemy in that last room focused on you and you alone. And we don't know, you know, what the Nightfall modifiers would be on it, so we'll have to wait and see. Let's see if I can get Black Hammer to proc 3 times on this guy. Nope. I should have reloaded before I started shooting. Not paying attention. These guys are very kindly dropping a ton of ammo for me. So Nightfall's really going to be interested to see how those changes affect the gameplay. I'm pretty excited about that. You know, that, of course, I already mentioned that trailer really got me pumped up. Not so much for what they showed, but just like the tone of the trailer was just, I don't know, so many times Destiny does these like really foreboding trailers. This one just kind of said, hey, this is going to be fun too. You know, just the music selection, the clips they showed, just looked awesome. Showing that, that catch was really cool. The Queen's catch that gets blown up, and then you see it kind of floating through space along with a Queen's Guard body. You know, just that kind of stuff. It just looks epic. Got to see our Guardian inside a taken ship again. Looks like the same taken ship, so I'm wondering if that cutscene changes at all, depending on which ship you have equipped, or if that's just a story beat that you have to get into a, not taken ship, a hive ship. So we'll have to wait and see for that stuff. But altogether, you know, that trailer was really fun. We got to see a glimpse at the last word, possibly year 2 version of the Red Death. It's hard to tell if that's going to be just a normal weapon or the new version of Red Death. We'll have to pretty much just wait and see to find out. As you can see, though, this strike really isn't that difficult, as long as you just kind of play it careful. Use cover to your advantage. Don't get caught by any of these rocket-firing idiots. Watch for scions, because their scion blast is going to be pretty... I can't hit that guy? Pretty nasty. And they do like to hide quite a bit. And make sure you kill everything else before you kill these two guys up here. Because you don't want to be fighting the tank with stuff around still. You want to make sure that everything else is dead before you go after those guys and before you have to fight the tank. I'm going to pretty much just use my scout rifle on everything up to the tank, so I'm saving ammo for the tank. Let's see here. Where'd that guy go? I saw him. There he is. Let's move up a little bit. I'm still getting action over here. Looks like everything is pretty much dead. So I am going to take out the big guys. We just want to kind of use cover against these guys because we're doing so much damage here. They're not very difficult.
I'm picking up another one of his lieutenants heading this way.
And then I'm going to use this little safe spot right over here. This has worked very well for me in the past to take this tank out. And what we're going to do is back off way over to here. When he fires, we're going to be hiding here. Come back out after he fires and get some more rounds off. Oh, he's about to fire. This isn't working out very well. Go back here to reload. Wait for another shot. There it goes. I think we just have that one in the back there. There we go. He's dead. Be careful jumping down from here. You can die from fall damage from up there if you go forward.
All right, let's go get Tarek.
But as you can see, that's a really nice spot because you got a lot of cover, and he's got a hard time actually getting it to you. So this next little area, if you get lucky, it's, again, I don't think it's a Nightfall zone. I don't remember if I've ever actually died here during a Nightfall, though. But I don't believe it's a Nightfall zone. And a lot of times, you'll actually see another group clearing out the enemies right here. But again, because of that walking tall bounty, I'm going to take it a little bit easy. Take out the hard-hitting enemies with my scout rifle. Just so I don't have to worry about going down. I want that walking tall bounty. I can't believe none of those shots hit for a headshot. That was crazy. I want a piece of this guy, and then I'll probably move on after that. Oh, there's another Colossus, so let's take out the Colossus. Alright, let's move on. Oh, another Colossus spawned in. Hopefully we can get past them here. Here we go. Man, I am an expert sparrow driver. Just banging that thing off of every wall I can find. Alright, we gotta clear out this room and then we can move on to our boss fight. There is one guy in here that you got to be careful about. He's that guy right there, and he can get you. I hate when they do that. That auto aim. Those rockets do solar damage, so if he hits you with a few of them, you're gonna be wishing he hadn't. And one more headshot ought to take him down. Is that it? That's it. Alright, let's move on. Oh, I didn't see you here. Alright, let's pop a heavy before we move in. Alright, let's do it. Guy was kind enough to drop some special ammo. Very nice of him. And I'm going to use this area over here to take this guy down. I'm going to kind of keep firing at him to figure out when he's actually going to be vulnerable. I think it's right about the time the doors close. He should be vulnerable by now. And we're going to Galahorn the snot out of this guy. Once we're out of Galahorns, we can start using our sniper rifle. Just be careful of rockets. Alright, there we go. Not a very difficult strike. Solar Burn is just nasty against that guy because we have so many options for awesome Solar Burn weapons. So 17 minutes for a Nightfall strike, not too bad, especially when you consider that, you know, this strike used to take the longest, right? It was just a long-ass strike, but they reduced the amount of health that the boss has, Valis 2 Arc has, and made it much more approachable, especially on Solar Burn weeks if you have Galahorn. I mean, you can see how fast that guy went down. Frankly, one of the easiest boss fights in the game right now. It used to take forever to take that guy down. So let's see what we got. 75 kills, not that many for a Nightfall. We got a Thunderlord. Thunderlord is one of the exotics I'm looking forward to checking out in the Taken King because it is going to get some sort of an upgrade. We're not sure. A lot of speculation about there being like a fire damage version of the Thunderlord and a void damage version of the Thunderlord. Very cool. So I'm definitely going... Well, I've already got one, so I don't need to hold on to this one, but always like seeing it. This was actually the first exotic gun I ever got in Destiny. So that's going to do it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button if you liked the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time.